Hey, Engel. Oh, we modeling. We modeling today. We modeling today because it has been a week. And I don't have the mental or emotional capacity to invest in a game right now. Hey, Justin's still alive. That's good to hear. Hey, Sej. Good to see you. Hi, Shadow. Yeah, last week was a week, and I didn't get much of a break over the weekend, so I got a Saturday break. I spent all day playing Valheim with Salad. But last week was just a long week. Big mood. Big mood indeed. How are you doing, Sarah? How's school and everything? Stressed but good? Oh, I'm glad you're good. I'm sorry about the stress though. Oh man, I am trying to rest. It's just the state of life right now. It's not going to change if I rest more or not. Oh no, my Monday wasn't that bad. I got an inundation of tickets and that was about it. I managed to knock those out, so it wasn't terrible. It's all right. I appreciate that, Justin. Um, yeah, IT tickets. Had a bunch of IT tickets come in. I yeah, better than parking tickets for sure. Uh, Last week the company made a very tough decision to lay off 17 people. So right at the end of the week, I had me and my coworker had 17 terminations to process. Gave them a good severance. Like it wasn't bad or malicious or anything like that. They were just like, with the way things are projected and going, we do not have the money to have all the people on staff that we do, and we are unfortunately going to have to lay people off. And I was fortunately not one of those people, but I had some friends that I made through the company that unfortunately were. There's the list to the playlist. It's some dude named the Dragon Father, and he makes some pretty cool music. Lauren found him, I think, on Instagram or something. Ooh. Pretty solid stuff, though. Yeah, thankfully I wasn't one of the 17. No, so there was a lot of stress around that, just trying to figure out, like, am I going to lose my job in a few months? What's the plan? What's going on? Unfortunately, my company is very transparent about all that. So, they basically sat down with everyone and they're like, we do not anticipate to make any further layoffs. We have cash on hand to operate the business. So that is how we are continuing this year. We have plans and goals in place to increase revenue and hopefully get back to a place where we could hire some more people or whatever. But for a little bit, there definitely was oh, goodness gracious, am I going to lose my job? Am I going to be able to pay my bills? Who knows? And so I got a heads up from my CTO about it, because I am the primary IT guy. So I needed to be aware of the people that were getting laid off. So we heard about it. We heard about a couple of layoffs a couple days in advance, and then we heard about the mass severance. I'm sorry, I should say we heard about a couple of severances a few days in advance. Then we heard about the rest of them like the day before. But I talked to the CTO, and she was like, every future that we have for the company has you in it. So, I can't say, yes, 100% you're safe, but we don't want to lose you. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. Hey, Glory. And so not only was it like, oh, there goes my director, and then it was, oh, there go all these other people. It's like, ugh. So I felt, comforted in the fact that I was going to stay, but it also sucked to see so many good people go. But fortunately, everything went smoothly and all that. It was just a lot of work at the end of the week. Hey, I'm glad to hear that your dad won't lose his job. What came of that, Nightingale? Yeah, it does feel good to hear, especially because the other stressful news, last night I signed paperwork to start building a house. So that's happening. Figured if I told my family, I might as well tell Stream, right? Yeah. I'm looking to move to Illinois. That is one of the few states that I want to live in, that I can live in with my current job. So that is the destination. Your dad's job is being moved to a different group within GM. Oh, that's good. I am so glad to hear that he's not losing that. I know that was a big concern. But thank you, Justin. Unfortunately, I won't be. We will be a little bit further apart than neighbors, but welcome, Nightly. I will do my best to teach you what I can. I progressed with a simple layout. This is essentially what I'm working on, but... Well, at least, okay. At least, maybe he'll get to grow and learn in something new. Hey, Dimwit. That's very fair, Justin. That's very fair. But yeah, so the stress lately has been, looking at houses, seeing some that we liked, and wondering like, is that where we're going? And then I'm just kind of messing with things right now. Oh, that's right, I don't have the mirror modifier on it. Oh, so I shouldn't mess with anything because it won't reflect. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Gina, how are you? That's a clean bunch of polygons? Well, it's very low poly, so I hope it's clean. I can afford houses? Barely. Yeah, one of the reasons why Illinois was on my list is because houses there are a lot cheaper, but it also depends on where you look. So we were finding some really decent looking houses for, $250,000, $290,000, and then we were finding some other houses that were $500,000 and $600,000, and it's like, how is anyone supposed to afford this right now? So all the cheap ones were like flying off the shelves, and I'm sure getting crazy offers. But while searching, we managed to find a plot of land that was basically you put a little bit of money down saying that you're interested in that, you want the house, and they'll build it for you. It was a spec to be built home. Oh, that's so exciting, Nightly. I hope you're able to find something. Hopefully prices dip in the next couple years. Oh, I'm sorry to hear your day was crazy too. Have a good night, Dimwit. You know, Justin, I get that. Of the two, snow is a lot easier to handle than tornadoes. I did not do the reference sketch. No, that is done by someone on, I think, Fiverr, by the name of Green Dark. I am just attempting to build around it and put my own flair on it. So I'm kind of looking at it right now. Just trying to figure out how I want to finagle this and make it look nice. Where'd that cube go? There it is. Oh? Oh, there's that cube. I don't know why I couldn't see that one. I was like blind for a minute there. Depends on where you're at in Illinois and also the severity of it. Illinois is basically on the outside of Tornado Alley, so yeah, they can get tornadoes, but so could Maryland and Pennsylvania. I saw 3 tornadoes in the 26 years that I lived on the East Coast, and talking to everyone that I know that lives in Illinois, they're like, yeah, we've had like maybe 1 or 2 tornadoes. For the gear, I used a square and I extruded and shaped it. And then I used a Boolean modifier to cut into this and then use the knife tool to give it quads. Except some of my quads are not good, so I gotta fix that real quick. There we go. Now they're all quads. That makes things a little easier. Oh. Yeah. You spent about 5 of your 8-hour drive in Missouri to home. It was pretty boring. Yeah. When you're driving through those places, there's not much to see. But I mean, I've literally driven across the country, and every state is pretty boring to drive through. The knife tool is pretty easy. I mean, it's basically just, you know, draw and connect a line between 2 points and then hit enter, and hey, you cut something. You added a line. Or I mean, you know, you could do it between more than that, more lines, and you'll add a straight line but with more vertices. But it's great for helping build topology. I doubt your model was messed up because it wasn't all quads. I was working on something for a friend yesterday, and I think most likely what happened was when you went to remesh it, you might have remeshed to either too fine of a detail for too thin of a model. Is possibly what happened. Because I noticed when working on something yesterday, it started doing that weird tear thing that yours did. And I was like, well, that's weird. Also, thank you about the music. It's this dude. The Dragon Father. Makes some cool sounding stuff. How do I want to do this? I want to use a square there. What do I want to do? That's the real question. No, I've driven through Missouri. I've driven through Illinois and Missouri. In fact, I drove... I went from Pennsylvania to Ohio to Indiana to Illinois to Iowa. I think through a little bit of Minnesota, South Dakota, a little bit of Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and then Washington. I've driven through Oregon. I've driven through West Virginia, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, New York, a little bit of Connecticut, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of Georgia. I don't know if I've hit South Carolina, Louisiana, Oklahoma. If I haven't mentioned Kansas, I'm pretty sure I've been in Kansas, and Texas. Driven through them all. No, I did not visit Autumnsville. I wish. I don't know if I've been through Michigan. I don't, what states haven't I been through? Let's see. I haven't driven in California, but I have been in California. I don't think I've been in Wisconsin. I think I went through a little bit of Minnesota. Haven't been to North Dakota. Haven't been to Michigan. Haven't been to Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, or Rhode Island. Haven't been to Arizona. I've been in Nevada, but haven't driven through it. Haven't been to Utah. I don't think I've been to Colorado. And I haven't been to Alaska. I have driven through Hawaii, though. And I haven't been to Florida. And I think South Carolina. Yeah. Oh my god! It's Apple! Hi, Apple! How are you doing? Thank you so much for the raid. How was Among Us, you beautiful bean? Hi! It's good to see you. How have you been? Guys, if you don't know my friend Apple, she is a delightful person all around. She has a wonderful voice. She'll do occasional readings. Last I heard she was doing Sherlock, I believe. I don't know if she still is. She took a little bit of a break, which I encourage and am proud of her for doing. Looks like she's been playing more Among Us. She does love that game. I would be down to do it soon. Yeah, just give me some heads up. Let's schedule that. Apple is super sweet. She's like a good red apple. Like a Fuji or a Cosmic Crisp. Very sweet. Not sour, not like a green apple. Not like an opal. No worries, Justin. You take care of yourself. A blue apple? She is a blue apple. I've never had a blue apple myself, though, so I can't attest to how delicious they are. What is this art I'm doing? It is 3D modeling. I am attempting to make a 3D model of this kind of clockwork gear shield for Buddy's game. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. It's called The Bloodline. And you can wishlist it on Steam. It's an awesome looking game. Think like Skyrim meets Mountain Blade. meets other RPGs, but is just all around pretty cool. And I'm very, very excited for it. Hashtag ad. Look, Milo gets free advertisement from me, and I have no shame. Bebop, you can't eat apples. How come you can't eat apples? Well, I do consider Milo a friend, but I mean, he's definitely paying me for this, so, you know, I kind of... is that what I want to do? Kind of. So, you know, I do have some incentive to do stuff like this. Not gonna lie. But it's fun, and I really enjoy it. So I am more than happy to do stuff like this. Come on, give me the face loop, please. There it is. Alt-E, extrude along normals. Along normals, right? Oh, maybe I need to extrude along... No, not along faces. I'll figure it out. He also gets free NPC murder. I don't know what you're talking about, Ingle. You're allergic to raw apples. You can have applesauce and apple juice and such, but the kind of apples you'd put in a fruit salad? No. Interesting. Do you know what it is about the apples? Look, I'm just saying, I love a good kebab. Why is this not extruding like I would expect it to? Oh, you know why? It's because I rescaled it and didn't apply the scale. Now watch. Hey. It's always that. Always reapply the scale. Nightly, if there's one thing you learn from me, it's when you edit something's size outside of edit mode, always reapply the scale. What is going on here? How are you messed up? You thought you'd understand what I was doing? Sorry, which part did you want me to repeat? Not sure what it is, but you think it might be something to do with your allergy to spring pollen since it goes away when the apples get cooked. That could be. That would make sense. Oh, yeah. So when you are shaping something in object mode, if you do Control A and then apply scale, that will apply its scale over here. Because look, if I shrink this like that, you see how the scale is not uniform. What ends up happening is when you try to modify it, it can sometimes act wonky because the scale isn't uniform, and so stuff doesn't extrude or move the way that you expect it to. So sometimes, here, I'll do this real quick because I can go back in time. see how the scale is 0.004 and 0.041 on these? So because of that, when I was trying to extrude along normals, it wasn't extruding right. You can see that, you know, these faces right here didn't come out nearly as much as these. So what I had to do was go back into object mode, Control A, scale, apply scale. That's what Control A is the apply menu. So apply scale. And now when I go back in here, Alt E to extrude along normals, they extrude properly. But what's happening is I think these faces are too close together. Actually, what do I have there? Oh, I have... What? For some reason, I have duplicate vertices, and I don't understand why. So I just fixed that. Maybe I accidentally attempted to extrude once and then didn't delete it, and so all the vertices got copied. Hey, Tricky, it's good to see you. It's 10 p.m. if you got school, so you're gonna go to sleep. Have a wonderful night, Bebop. I am delighted that you came along with Apple's raid. I really appreciate you. Sorry to hear about the apple allergy. I was curious because my partner has a fructose allergy, and so she can't eat foods with fructose in it, which is a lot. So I thought, you know, maybe it would be something along the same side. But anyway, have a wonderful night. Good luck with school. Yeah, it was probably from that first extrude. You are correct. So let's do that. And see if I can remember where my render distance is. I think it's in here. Or is it under here? Workspace. Is there a viewport display here? Trying to make it to where the shape doesn't disappear when I zoom in real close on it. And I don't remember how to do that. Because it's not often I've got to do that. I would imagine it would be in one of these. Let's just Google it real quick. Blender distance rendering. I don't know. Clipping distance. Okay, that's not a page anymore. Let's Google that. Blender clipping distance. Surprisingly, this did not tell me what I needed to know. Well, that's the thing, is I don't have a camera, so I don't know why it would be in the camera settings. I guess I could add a camera real quick. I can't do that here. I gotta do that here. Camera, get over here. If I just add a whole bunch of ones to it, that'll resolve my issue, right? That's how that works? Not really. Okay, so let's try. Bring those in to match. Yeah, I don't know if that helped, but it works. It works enough. Okay, so now the question is, how do I do this shape? Let's start with... Could just do a triangle again. Or I could just do a cube, scale it down, bring it over here, move it in the Y, scale it in the Y, then move it in the Y again. And one for vertex select mode. And what I'll do is Alt-Z for X-ray mode, so that way I can get in here and grab both sides, because that's what X-ray mode helps you do. And then I'll just move this over here and this over here. Like that. I'll start the edge of the grass, and then we'll switch to face mode, so that way I can just extrude out a whole bunch. Back to vertex mode to start placing these. Hey, Ed. No, definitely not making anything saucy. Not unless you count Dwarven hardware as saucy. Then maybe it is saucy. Go here and then extrude that one. Grab this to line it up better. That one out there. We'll throw a loop cut in here so that way I can finagle that a little bit. We'll bring these sides in because they feel kind of big. They don't feel like they taper enough. There we go. That looks a little bit better. My methods are strange to you, but they seem to work well. How would you do it, Ingle? I'm curious. As someone else who has practiced in Blender quite a bit before. Throw that there. Grab this one, extrude this out to here, grab those vertices here. Just throw a whole bunch of loop cuts on it. How's that looking? Bring that inset a little bit. Ugh. Oh my god, you had to order parts for a dude named Everhard today? What a name to have. Did you look at him blankly the first time he said that? Yeah, I bet it was hard to keep a straight face. Wink. For more machines, you've been making tokens by tracing 2D images to import. Essentially use whatever to start with a vertex, extrude along the outline, control right-click for fast mode, and then turn the whole thing into a face. Triangulate, extrude into 3D. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. I understand the method of which you were attempting or succeeding at doing. All right, I need X-ray mode on for this. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it's because of this. I don't know, it just doesn't feel filigree-y. Yeah, you'll have to tell me about the pinball machine on Wednesday, my dude. But I'm glad to hear that you got it working, that you and your family got home safe. So go get some rest. Take good care of yourself, man. Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why the way that I do it works so well is because I'm tracing it like you are, but you're right, I'm doing it in chunks. Like that's essentially how I did this. I started at I think I started at like the bottom and like extruded up to here and then extruded up to the center and then pulled it out along the sides to like get over here and then just kept going up and just building up. And then I threw a couple of loop cuts in there to make this. Oh, heck yeah, I'm excited to see the video. You know what? I think I'm gonna scrap that I was just working on, but I'm gonna keep that leaf. I'm gonna keep that leaf for later, because I have an idea. I'm gonna leave it alone for now. You got it. This dwarven thing looks suspiciously elf. I know, right? I mean, it's got like all this beautiful like steampunk filigree type stuff on it, which is what I was trying to emulate. But I don't like the way that specifically what I was just working on turns out in low poly. Like this stuff looks fine. That I'm cool with keeping. But the rest of this, I think needs a little bit of a tweak. How do I want to do this the easiest way? And so the reason why I'm only doing it on one side is so that way I can add a mirror modifier, connect it to this. Gosh, trying to give me those two and join them. Then we'll do a mirror modifier and throw it there. And look, now it copies it, mimics it on the other side. It's perfect. The coloring of the different parts is the random color here. So every new shape that you add is going to have a different color to help you differentiate them. But it is just in the viewport shading. If I go into render shading, I'm sorry. This is material preview. This is solid mode. That was in solid mode. And you can't do that in material. You can only do that in solid mode. Yeah. So if I go back to this, select these, and let's make that a bit smaller. Throw this down there. So scale those ends in the x-axis. Enlarge that a bit. Grab this circle, or this edge loop. Move that up there. How does that look? Do I like that? I don't know if I like that. There we go. Have a good night, Apple. Thanks for the raid again. You take good care of yourself. What if that replaces the bottom cog? Like the wheel down here? I don't know if I'm feeling those at all. Let's instead do cylinder, drop it down to 8 vertices, rotate that on the x-axis by 90 degrees, scale it all the way down, grab that side view, x-ray view, scale it in the y-axis, bring that to the front, go back to the front view. I guess I don't need that one. I could just use a cube for this. Oh. I don't want to be in, there we go. Don't want to be in the camera mode. Bring that forward. More. And what I'm gonna do here is select the face and inset it. That is the wrong face. There we go. Select the face, give it an inset. That scale is not uniform. So let's, there we go. I don't know if it made much of a difference, but it's gonna make me happier. And then we are going to extrude that in a little bit to give that some depth. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. The concept that I'm going for is steampunk meets like Warhammer 40k, not Warhammer 40k, Warhammer fantasy. Oh god, what's it called? Stagmar, Agmar. Age of Sigmar. Thank you. I was mixing up Age and Sigmar. Yeah, that'll give it a little bit of a bevel. Honestly, it kind of looks like a boar. Like, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this is the snout, and, like, these are the eyes, and then it's got, like, his little ears and some tusks and stuff there. Clockwork boar. That'd be kind of neat. How should I do... I wonder if I should bring these up then. I still don't have vertex merge on. There we go. And then I can extrude this out. And then maybe grab this loop and scale that out a bit, like that. I think I'd need another cube. Let's move this off center a little bit. Is that still inside? It is still inside. What if I shrink it down? And then grab this face and pull it back into the geometry. And then, I made a mistake. Separate that. Okay, good. That's its own piece now. And then essentially what I want to do... so this is going to be a pipe, and it is a cylinder, yeah. Rando RPG question. Redesigning weapons from the ground up for your game. Stuck on axes. Trying to go with the 3 basic damage types. Stabby, smash, slashy, smashy, and tying abilities to those rather than specific weapons. Axes get weird. They feel too heavy to be slashing, but too bladed to be bludgeoning. I mean, you could just make it its own type, or you could have it be a subset and be like, heavy slash. Okay, so now what I need to do is Ready for this? Ready for this? Control B to bevel those edges. There we go. We got ourselves a pig snout. And then, you know, the easiest way to maybe do this. Actually, I can show Knightley a few things here. Okay, you ready, Knightley? Why can't I see? Oh, it's because this is a giant, all right, hold on. So the reason why what I'm trying to do isn't working is because this is now a giant ingon. So if I get rid of that bevel, now I can do loop cuts on here. So what I want to do is have 3 slots. So that should be perfect. And then what I'll do is grab these 2 and scale them together. Actually, no, that's kind of perfect. I will loop cut 2 here, scale them in the Z axis. So that way there's some space on the edges. And then what I'll do is select the faces here. Right. So I have front and back faces. And spacebar, bridge, edge loops. Is that what I wanted? Hold on. Delete faces first. There we go. And then with edge selector on, grab these and bridge edge loops. Which is Control E, okay? So Control E, bridge edge loops. So now what that has essentially done is I hollowed it out. And instead of going in there and trying to mess with the topology or the faces or whatever, I just did that myself to make a hole. I deleted the faces and then bridged them together to make a hole by using edge loops. So now we will go here, 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 and here. Now we can Control B to bevel. Like that. And I'm going to grab both of these. I'm actually going to grab these by their vertices. Like that, and like that. And then I'm going to scale them in the x-axis to bring them in some. I'm getting that, like, furnace snout. Quads and triangles are fine. Even ingons are fine in certain situations. The problem comes with Blend. I don't know if it's with all 3D modeling programs, but Blender specifically, if you do Control R to do a loop cut, you can only do that across a quad. You can't do it across a tri or an ingon. Welcome back, Justin. I'm glad you're still alive. So like you can do a loop cut across all of this, but if I were to take these and merge them into these vertices, now making this a tri, it stops. It doesn't go all the way across. So that's the reason why people tell you to model in quads and to have good topology and good edge looping, because it makes it really easy to do loop cuts and stuff like that and fix your general topology. Yep, that is precisely why. And you'll come across weird topology where, like, I was working on something and I was doing an edge loop and it like spiraled all the way up to the top of the weapon. It was really funky. But it just You gotta be the more you work with it, the more aware you'll get of like how edge loops and stuff like that work, but they're interesting. Okay, so we got our boar snout furnace, which is great. A forge boar. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with that. Let's see. I think instead of this being a clock, it's going to be like a temperature gauge. I think could be a lot of fun. I don't know if it's going to breathe fire. I just want it to look like that. Okay, so what would be good for tusks? Oh my god, yeah, the what is it? The brass bull, I think is what it's called. Maybe I won't keep this leaf. So this will also get a mirror modifier and toss that there. So that mirrors that exactly. Keep it and hide it somewhere. The leaf that once was. Hey, Eternal. Stick it on top or something. Just put it on the back here. A random leaf. Why is there a leaf? No, not really. I told him a little Easter egg leaf. I told him I would just kind of follow a motif of Dwarven and steampunk, and you know, what's more Dwarven than a boar? I wonder if I could. Let's grab a cylinder, rotate that 90 degrees on the x-axis, and scale that down. Gonna put that like right there. Move that forward. Shrink that down a little bit. Let's do this with vertex select mode. I say that and then immediately switch to line mode. Okay, that's obviously sticking out a little too much. Those rotated weird? That's alright. I'm okay with there being a little bit of funky rotation. What if, and hear me out, what if Hey, Jackie, how are you doing? How did your Celeste stream go, my dude? Tricky, I wish I could help you. I have never touched, well, that's not true. I've touched a guitar in my life. I have never played a guitar in any actual sense of playing music in my life. Just got back from a cookie date. Where'd you guys go? Did you guys go to Crumble? You did go to Crumble. The flavors this week are very good. Ooh, what were the flavors this week? Oh, that's real sweet, Tricky. I wish you the absolute best of luck in learning guitar. Yeah, I'm making them exhaust pipes. I thought it would be interesting. Let's see. Maybe I want it facing up more. Like that. I could bring it down there. Oh. Wow, they opened their first one in Canada and it's only a couple hours away from you? I wouldn't say it's worth a couple hour drive, but if you happen to be near it, you should probably go and get some. So what I did for the center part actually was I selected the main face and inset it with I, and then I moved it down, realized that I didn't want it to be completely flat, so I gave it another edge loop and then moved that up to give it this lip. But this face here was essentially, yeah, just move down inside like that. And you could achieve a similar thing with beveling, but beveling might bevel the outside instead of the front. Though that being said, that might look a little better. Double fudge brownie, iced oatmeal, lemon bar. Ooh. Yeah. Like you said earlier, there's so many different ways to get the same effect completed in Blender that it's... You could do that, like, so many different ways. There you go. Now he's starting to look like a boar. I want to make those eyes a bit bigger. No worries, Jackie. I appreciate you hanging out. You have a wonderful night. Take care of yourself. Try flaring it up on one side so it's a little pointier. Like... Proportional editing. It's gonna be my friend. Like that. Man, it's been a month already, Jackie? Crazy. But on the left, so the outside is pointy. Ah. So you want me to do, like, this one. Like that. Don't bring it out. More tusky that way. Gotcha. Sure. Knightley says she would do it on, like, these three edges. So let's... do the difference here. Let's bring it out just a little bit to give it less of that oblong feeling. How's that? Before it was like a boar that ate a trombone. Well, I mean, it is steampunk. It's gonna be a boar that ate a trombone. How else do you think that they're gonna do their war call? They're gonna do it through the horns. Now they look kind of like hands. Italian boar. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in on this one. So we'll select this face, I to inset. That gives us this. Then we're going to E to extrude on the y-axis to bring it in. And that is going to give us that gauge look. And then I'll select this inner loop here, and we will bevel that ever so slightly. Which I don't think that looks good because I don't think this is uniform scale. So let's try it again. That looks better. See, bevels don't work on stuff that's done like that. It's like this isn't a uniform scale, so we'll fix that. We'll bevel this. Everything looks good with some bevels on it. Speaking of, uniform scale, bevel. Bevel. Real boar tusks are boring. While you do see a boar, why does it look like a cog? Is this going to be a shield maybe, or is a cog like a default shape that you haven't adjusted to it yet? It's going to be a shield. It's going to be a shield. Originally, I was gonna try and do like a dwarven face on it. But the more I looked at it, the more I saw a boar, and I was like, I can't not do the boar design. It was just too great. Because like, no, that's not what I wanted. If we hide all of this, and that, like, I see the eyes, the snout, the filigree here. I think these might be cables or welding or something. Like angry eyebrows. I don't know. That's just what it looked like to me. So I went with a boar. The boar is way more dwarf as well. Hey, I'll take your word for it. I don't know much about Warhammer Fantasy. You know what? Shrink this down a little bit. Man's got a little leaf stuck there. Boar or tree, which is more dwarf? Definitely boar is more dwarf. Okay, but it's not super fancy yet. It's getting there, but like it almost needs like more filigree or something. Why you know clip? That's weird. What if I just have you coming out of the gauge here at the top? We'll turn off proportional editing. And we will edge slide those in, so that way, is it Shift Y, I think? It is a very short playlist, yeah. It's like, hold on, let me pull up Spotify. There's 15 songs, and that seems to be all that he's got, unfortunately. But I do dig this guy. He's got some good music. Where do I follow him? I haven't come across oh, dude's from Washington, too. I haven't come across too many people who make good, like, medieval sounding music like this. Most of the time it's, I don't know, it doesn't hit the right feel. Let's try this one. This one sounds very World of Warcrafty. Like, hold on. Which one is it? I think it's Pig and Whistle. Nope. Lion's Pride? Yeah, it's Lion's Pride. See, this is the World of Warcraft version. Bum bum ba bum ba da da na. Right? And then here's the one that we were just listening to. Like, they're very different, but so similar. Anyway. Oh, you know what? You know what these should be? Eyebrows. Yeah, it is almost like the Hi-Fi Rush streamer mode. I agree. Like, they're just so very similar. Which isn't a bad thing. I'm really digging the music, but I was just like, hold on a second. I've heard this somewhere before. Ooh, enjoy your Buffalo Wild Wings, Justin. Take care, dude. No, I would say Good Kid is not very D&D fantasy aesthetic. You're right. Um Interesting. I don't remember how I did this one. Oh, it's its own shape. Oh, well, that makes things easy. Well, let me just do that and oh, I didn't realize. Okay. I still had another piece of geometry selected. That was my boo-boo. Okay, so Shift D. Nope, that's not at all what I needed to do. Shift D. Duplicate it first, then deselect that and get rid of those. Dang it. Okay, let's try this again. Link, select all linked, duplicate, deselect those, start rotating till I get it down where I want it here. There we go. So that gives that the proper filigree. And then what I can do is select all of these, duplicate it. Actually, I may not even have to do that. One sec. I should be able to select all these, separate by selection, throw on another mirror and have it mirror that cylinder? No. No, that's not working how I thought. I thought it might. Hey, Wolfide, good to see you, buddy. Go listen to Skyrim music for the Dwarven-like dungeons. I'll be honest, I don't really care for the Skyrim music that much. Is it Morrowind now? Hold on, that last song was Morrowind? No, this is still the same person named Fiddlewood. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, he's got a whole tavern playlist. I'm gonna see if the rest of them happen to ring any bells. What if I mirror this? Throw this here first. No. Critical Roles composed their own? I did not know that. Good for them. What is this? Control S? No, that's save. Shift S. No, it's just right click for this one. Origin to geometry. Oh, that's super cool. I'm glad that they were finally able to step away from doing stuff purely with game music. Yeah, I flip between there's that song again. Edit mode and object mode frequently. Look, Kevin MacLeod does some amazing music. I will not deny the man that. Object mode is really just to add more objects and move them around. Because if you move an object in edit mode, its origin point stays wherever it was. But if you move it in object mode, the origin moves with it. So for instance, you see how this origin is right there in the center, and I move it around and it follows it. If I did this in edit mode, the origin stays. Oh, hit with the ads at the worst time. Man, now I just really want to listen to the World of Warcraft tavern music. I'm gonna. Welcome back. Okay, so what I was saying was, in object mode, if you move an object, its origin point goes with it, like this. You can see that orange dot is following it. But in edit mode, if you were to move it, the origin does not move with it. So most cases, I switch between the two to do various things. If I'm editing the shape, it's usually in edit mode. If I'm moving the object, it's in object mode. I won't get the VOD muted. This is game music. It's fine. I alternate between the two. It depends. If I'm first making an object, I'll scale it in object mode. But if I'm working with something in a mesh, like changing the size, then I'll mess with the size there. Goodness gracious. And we're going to mark seam. Mark seam. Mark seam. Mark seam. So basically what I'm doing real quick is going around and telling the object where I want seams to be for it. For when I do UV unwrapping later. Which is for texturing. Go. That should be good. Mark that seam. Mark that seam. Mark those seams. And I'm doing this as I'm going because it's going to make life so much easier for me later on. Oh, interesting. A seam is... All right, hold on. Let me fix my boo-boo here. There we go. If you didn't notice, at some point earlier, when I was extruding this, I didn't grab all of the edges here, so there's no bottom to this, which actually isn't such a bad idea. Getting rid of the bottom, because you don't need faces that people aren't going to see. But whatever. What's the best way to describe what an edge is? Or a seam. What's the best way to describe what a seam is? So when you are doing what is called a UV unwrap, which is where you are usually going in and texturing things, you need to add seams to tell the UV editor where you want the shape to be broken up in the UV editor. And I will show you what I mean by that in just a second. I'm probably not doing a great job at UV on or at marking seams, but okay. So like if I grab this cog, and this is the UV map right now of the cog. If I hit U and unwrap, it's not going to work because I don't have seams on it. If I smart UV project with a margin of, I think it's 0.02, it's going to automatically try and calculate how the UVs look. So these are the faces of the object. And when I go in here to texture them, to add materials and colors and all that sort of stuff to them, it tells it where to put it based on the UV map. So this is the cog itself, the front, this is the back, and then these are the other pieces. So when you go in and mark seams, you are telling the UV editor here how to properly unwrap it for you to texture it. So like if I were to go in here and I'm going to get rid of this, I'm going to not be able to select this because it's not a perfect edge loop, but I'm going to go around and do my best. Most of the time you can get away with a smart UV project, like I just did there, but it has a tendency to break things up into a whole bunch of itty-bitty pieces, which can cause problems. So we'll mark that. We'll mark that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the seam probably here at a corner. I tend to find corners the best place to split seams. So now if I go back into the UV editing, you can see this here. Now I can go in and just do my own unwrap. And so it's done it this way. So instead of breaking up all the individual teeth, I now have them as their own long piece. And now I can just shove that off to like the side over here if I want to. I can, oop, that's not what I wanted to. I can shrink it down, you know, do whatever I need to with it. Or I could do a smart thing, and that would be to go over here and cut it in half, mark the seam there, and then if I unwrap it again, now I've got two seams like that. Yeah, it's like when you had 6 squares in a T shape for making a cube. I'll have to check them out, Shadow. I haven't been paying much attention to Critical Role stuff in a while, so why? Did I miss something somewhere? Oh, that's weird. Clear that seam. Clear that seam, and then mark those as a seam. I noticed that I had a weird protrusion here, and I was like, why is it doing that? I don't understand. So let's unwrap that again, and there we go. Now I fixed it. Ingle asking the question that I just figured out. It was just a weird seam. I messed up the seam, so... That is a good way to look at it, Nightly. I would say that now I'm no expert in any way, shape, or form. That's a good way to look at it because that is a smart way to think about some of those things. But that is not necessarily the best way to do it. So as you can see, this is like the rest of all the stuff that is UV unwrapped and looking bad. And down here are my cogs because everything else is taking up so much room. By a smart UV project. So these are the, you know what? I wonder if... There we go. Okay, so I had some stuff that wasn't uniform in scale, so it was taking over where it shouldn't. So this is what Smart UV Project. It'll sometimes take these tiny pieces and just separate them, which isn't necessarily good. So you have to think about it in maybe less like if you cut it out, it's how someone could make your figure, and more how if you were going to take a picture and overlay it on an object, what would be the best way to do that with minimizing like overlap or funky textures or UV trouble. Hi. I'm making a boar. Thank you. Bedtime for you? Sleep, take 2 melatonins. That's fair. Let's see if I can... Let me open up one of my older ones. Open recent. We'll go to... It's a good one. Where did I feel like I had some good UV mapping? Let's take a look at this one. Let's take a look at the glass sword. Okay, for the record, I do not have good UV unwrapping for this. I think I just did a smart UV project on this one and just colored stuff in and tossed it together. Because ideally what you want to do is you want to try and conserve space for a texture by putting everything as close as possible to each other. This, I think, just had so many pieces, it made it difficult to try and UV unwrap it like here. But as you can see, I managed to get this stuff looking pretty good. And you can see the outline of some of those things. Let's try the hammer. This one's a little bit better. All right, Shadow. I'll catch you later, dude. Thanks for hanging out with us. So I marked this one's seams in a way to where it split it down the middle. So I have the left and the right side of the ham, there and there. Left and right side of the bone. And then that made it easier for me to color. Go. And it's like I'm taking those pieces of, I'm taking these pieces and like wrapping it around the object, essentially. I'm sure there's a much better way to explain how it works. But because you're taking this 3D object and then cutting it open and laying it flat on a plane, you have to find a way to color it properly. And UV unwrapping is how that works. You take a 3D shape and lay it completely flat, and then you color it in. And like, if I were to take these, for example, and move it, you can see that the color up there goes along with it. Because I'm telling it where the map, where to read the color for this image. Yeah, it's kind of similar to paper mache. Like I said, I know I'm definitely not explaining it well, but that's essentially what I'm attempting to do, though, is put seams to where I can lay out the shape as accurate as possible when I UV unwrap it. And that is the whole purpose of me going around and marking seams on these things. If I just do a normal unwrap, got some weird things. So, but I'm just doing the general unwrap to make it easier on myself. Keeping notes of all the things you're going to watch videos on? Perfect. That is the best thing that you can do. And like I said, I'm probably not UV unwrapping things properly. But I'm doing it to the best of my ability. And I'm learning as I go, which is the best part. And thinking about things in that cube that you had to cut up is also pretty nice, because, you know, sometimes, you know, if the piece of the cube is stuck, you have to cut it there so that way it unfolds properly, and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's add... You know what, honestly, I'm just gonna add a cube here. And I'm gonna rotate it 45 degrees. You might be asking yourself, Cody, why a cube? Why not a cylinder? Cylinders are round, cubes aren't. In video games, you need to try and reduce the amount of vertices that you have. The more vertices, the more things have to render. So in low poly games, it's easier to watch the vertices because for every face or every quad, there is 4 vertices, roughly. Because, you know, 2 faces stuck together, that is going to be 6 vertices, because it's 1, 2, 3, and that's the top of the square. 4, 5, 6 around the bottom, and that makes up 2 squares. But, you know, the more faces you have, the more vertices you have. It's, I think, double? No, it's not double. For every quad you have. Whatever. It's roughly that. Like I said, I'm not explaining it right. I'm not a professional. But you get what I'm trying to say. Nah, getting rid of the leaf. Rip leaf. We knew ye well. I guess we hardly knew ye. It's more like it. There we go. So anyway, I'm using a plane to reduce the amount of vertices, essentially by half. I don't need a full 3D model for this, necessarily, so that'll do just fine. It's really fun figuring it out too. It's like a puzzle. You only have 4 wings and the front claws to go to fill out, then the real sculpting to begin. When the layer tool didn't work, you found out about the inflate tool and it works better in certain areas. Yeah, the inflate tool can be a lifesaver because things like the draw tool and the clay strips tool, they will pull parts of the mesh from the other side if it's too strong. So if you have too thin of a thing, it's going to mess up the back even though it's doing stuff on the front, which is real sucky. Cool. That works. What does it need? There you go. More to the left, not clipping that furnace cover. Needs a hinge. The real question is, should I do one big hinge or two small hinges? Yeah, I think the two small hinges. Big brains think alike. You know what I'm real quick gonna do? Oh yeah, see, this is the weird swooping loop cut I was telling you about. Real quick, I'm going to dissolve those edges so that way I can select this face and inset it some. And I think I want to bring it down. Just to give that a little bit more like depth and texture to it. Yeah. Yep, I can set that up to where it actually works akin to a door. And then if I bring this out and bring this down. That's not working quite how I want it to. Wonder if I need to do this. There we go. That's more what I wanted. Just needed to add another loop cut. Hey, Lunar. My goal is to make it glow behind the grate, yes. How are you doing, Lunar? It's good to see you. And we'll bring this up a little bit. Grab both of these and bring them both up some. Maybe bring those in. Giving stuff some extra definition and edges. Just to make it look fancy. I think I'm now getting into like detail work, and I don't know if I'm there yet. I feel like there's still stuff that I need to add on this. Just woke up and you're feeling sick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. Whatever seems to be ailing you, I hope it goes away. Uh-oh, Ingons. Ingons are fine. They'll be turned into tries. It's whatever. I am gonna re-quad this, though. Go. Did I ever quad this? I did not. Let's quad this one. There we go. How's it going, W. Schmidt? I like the idea that your name is Schmidt with a TH. I don't know if it actually is. It's not a common way to pronounce Schmidt. Let's bring this in a little bit sharper, bring this out a little bit more. There we go. Your name is gibberish. Perfect. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of gibberish. You know what? Let's try something funky, shall we? Let's see if this is gonna work. Just target all those. And if we eye to inset, ho ho ho. Bam. Now we've got a nice little raised edge around the whole thing. Both sides. Oh, that looks good. I like that. Let's see. And then I'm going to need... This will probably be a cube because of how close it's going to be to the player's arm. And let's grab those two, proportional edit, move that in the Y. Why bother trying to do that when I can just mirror it? Beautiful. Okay. Now let's grab this face and let's rotate it a little bit. Let's also grab this face and rotate it a little bit. Two strappies. I don't know if those are big enough. You know what I might do? I might just rotate that a little bit more. Oh, this one rotated weird. There we go. Perfect. These will probably hold 500 pounds of hot metal. Well, good. I'm glad you think so. Well, that tells me then that how I need to adjust this. Ready for this angle? You ready? Ready to get your mind blown, pal? Oh, don't worry, buddy. I ain't done yet. Straps on, straps on, straps. All right, we'll get rid of that. And then we're going to add a nice small cylinder. Rotate that on the x-axis. How's that? Is that better for you, Ingle? Maybe a little poly heavy? Yeah. It might be. I suppose I could. In theory, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna have to get rid of those too. Because they're at the wrong height. Two giant rivets instead of the small rivets. I mean, this definitely looks cooler, but, you know. Yeah, this filigree stuff, I think is probably what's taking up most of my vertices. Yeah, like, this horn is only 56 verts, whereas this thing is 123. For all that detail. That's the hard part. I haven't taken the back of them off, but that's because all of these are. Oh, that was in the wrong window. All of these are triangles. There is no bottom vert. So because they're all triangles. So like taking the bottom face off would help to reduce the face count. But you know, that also only helps if you're looking at something from the inside. So like even this, I couldn't get rid of these verts because they would exist regardless. This I could get rid of some verts on. But it does mess up the fill. So that's a little bit harder. Total count right now is 1,953 verts. Yeah, it's not bad at all. It also, with those other, like, things that I did back here, they were, I think they added, I think it got me up to like 2,100 verts or something like that, which isn't terrible. Nightly, that is actually a very good idea. I will see how that works. Okay, so let's take a look at you guys. Have a good night, Ingle. Take good care of yourself, my dude. I'm sure you will see the shield eventually. I'd be able to get rid of 2 verts. Be able to get rid of these. Which, you know, it helps. Delete vertices. Duplicate. Move that down. There you go. Fixed the hinges. Ah, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Darn camera view. Hey, Ziggy. Kind of looks like a Pokemon. Well, thank you. I'll take that as a win. It is a shield that's supposed to look like a boar. It's what Lechonk should have been. I'm trying to think of what else I can add to it. You know what? Honestly, there's part of me that kind of wants to duplicate this. But I don't know. The ears? I feel like the ears are essentially these cog pieces. That's where I'm struggling to like come up with more stuff. Who is Orthworm? Make the cog pieces pointier? I could. Oh my god. He looks like the cat bus was turned into a worm. How's that nightly? Goomy or Orthworm has arms? I see no arms on that boy. Orthworm arms. Oh, he does have arms. They come out of those holes. Oh, he's huge. Or at least that one's big. Jeez. You decided upon seeing him that you were gonna have an entire party of goofy little guys. I love it. Oh, there's a huge one for the story. Gotcha. Metal worm, metal worm. I don't like the gears losing their shape, if I'm honest. What if I just get a little goofy with excuse me. See, I was going off of the reference image, and those The cardinal directions were longer. It is an abnormally sized gear. Why they're longer? Couldn't tell ya. Yeah. But now I'm kind of just doing my own thing because ain't nobody got time for that. There was a clock on that shield because it's supposed to be like Dwarven steampunk themed, but I decided to turn it into a temperature gauge dial instead of a clock. Because I'm a rebel. You know what? I could probably save myself some verts, dissolve those, and those, and I mean, I guess I could probably do that on the back too, huh? These guys don't need to be actual rivets. The outside of the cog seems a little empty. That's a good point. Clock shield does sound very funny. I imagine that in D&D. Oh, what time is it? What time does it say? The actual rivets are much cooler, but I do have to think about of my vertice count. But the rivets, screw the vertices. See, this is why I have y'all here with me. It's to encourage me to do things that I probably shouldn't. Like this is a great way to ramp up the vertice count. Look at all these needless verts. Look at them all. Makes the front too noisy. What if, and hear me out, what if I put them on the outside? No, you're right. This is what normals are for. It's very true. Backface culling and all that. Beautiful stuff. Let me see if I can face orientation. Oh. So everything that is blue is the front of a normal, and everything that is red is the back of a normal. And when you go to render something, especially in a game engine, it typically does not render the back of the normal. The normal is the direction in which a face is facing. So blue is outward, and it is what gets textured. It's what you see in a video game. It's what you see in renders. Red is untextured. It's the back of it. It's what you don't see. So like when you clip through a map in a video game and you can see through the world, it's because you're looking at the other side of the normal. So I just had to recalculate those normals, get that fixed. There we go. Yes, that is exactly why you can see the inside of other people's heads in video games. And also why when you do see inside other people's heads in video games, you typically see their tongue, their eyes, and their teeth, or like their mouth, because a lot of the time you're not looking at them from the top or the bottom where the normal side of the mouth would be, but from the back. So you can typically see like the top of their tongue and the top, like the roof of their mouth and stuff like that. So, fun fact. Okay, so what if instead of rivets all over the place, what if I just put them like strategically? Nah, I still don't. I don't know if I'm down with that. That's why if you fall through the floor, you can see inside all the buildings. Yes, also that. Imagine putting in a video game just like a dumb, derpy smile face on the other side of people's heads, because it would be a very funny Easter egg. World of Warcraft put this in their game. Underneath one of their dungeons, there is just this big old smiley face. If you could find a way to glitch under Karazhan, you would see this big, dumb smiley face. And you can see here, this gate, and I think these are windows. You can't see through them because of the way that they're textured. They're textured on both sides. A gate, because it's, you know, those poles, it's textured all the way around. So when you're looking at it from the other side, it's still a gate. Unlike the rest of the building, which you can see through because its normals are facing you. Anyway. Let's see. Best future indie dev. For real, for real. They are not even... There we go. Now they're a little bit inside. Perfect. I was also planning on doing inside the eyes emissive textures, so that way the eyes and the snout would glow. That's the reason why I've kind of left them as is. And Schmidth made a very good point that the outside is undecorated. So what if I were a funky little goose I could make whatever shape I wanted from the outline of the pipes. You're right. Mirror. Toss that there. Oh, I didn't mean to hide those. Gosh darn it, I did it again. Where'd those go? They look like boar feet. Kind of reminds you of the stereotypical hoop that pigs get put on them, like the bull ring. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for with this one. This guy is a very metal boar. He's got tattoos and pipes. And we love that for this little guy. You're gonna make this? Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. You know, you've got yourself the hammer, the glass sword. Okay, let's do a new cylinder. We're going to make it 8 vertices instead of 6, because that's what all my pipes are. Rotate X90. Oh, hey, Ziggy. I mailed off the check for the house today. House check, let's go! Man, who'd have thought I would be here? Your evil plan is all coming together. You heard it here first, folks. Ziggy's evil plan is coming to fruition. Yo, why don't I make the straps pipes instead? Gosh darn it, I hit that one on accident. Hey, thank you for the follow, Schmidt. I appreciate it. It's been great having you hang out with us tonight and give me your advice and opinions on how this all looks. I wonder if that's too many pipes. I feel like this pipe is too much. I think that is a good amount of pipes. Oh my god, Ziggy. Last I heard, you don't like pipes. What are you talking about? Here we go. It was a very good joke. It was a very, very good joke. Oh boy, I sure hope Milo likes this. I'm gonna send him a screenshot of this. I think I'm at a point with this where I need to take a step back and let this sit for a bit. And get some direction from Milo to see what he has to say about it. You bought a water bottle and you have drank so much water since making that purchase. Please tell me your secret, Ziggy, and how buying a water bottle makes you drink more water. Yeah, sometimes you do just have to walk away from a project and come back later. And I'm sure I will get some advice from Milo in the morning. And I'll worry about it then. It's also good because it's about time for me to stop anyway, so... You got a canteen from your work. I do notice that I drink more water when I have my cup with a straw, my cuppy with a straw. It's so much easier to drink tons of water when it's got a straw because you just and it just goes right in. It's pink and it has a straw. See, the straw, and the part that you drink on is silicone, but the whole straw is detachable and not silicone, so it's easy to clean and doesn't make you anxious about cleaning. But doesn't have a straw, or does have a straw, is a fun color and a fun sensory thing because the silicone is fun to chew on. That's very fair. Mine's all plastic. Oh yeah, you were telling me about it being super cold. That's right. You know, I too love me a good cold bottle of water. All right, that's where I'm going to leave this for tonight. And we are, let's see. We're going to real quick raid out to Pasta, who is an acquaintance of mine. Today is her birthday, and she is super funny and has a very contagious laugh. So I'm going to raid us out to Pasta, and call it a night. And I don't know what game I'm playing next. I kind of have a backlog of 3D modeling and stuff to do, so might do that a little bit these coming days, just for the heck of hanging out and chilling and getting to work on some 3D modeling, because I love that. Ooh, and a dragon one. I love the idea of a dragon one. But we are going to raid out to Pasta. So if you guys would be so kind as to grab the appropriate icons, top one for subs, bottom one for followers, and follow me on over to the raid, I would greatly appreciate it. You're very welcome for the education and entertainment. I apologize if I did not do enough of a good explanation for you as I would have liked to. But if you ever have any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to help. I'm going to see if I can get screencast keys add-on for Blender, so that way you can see all the keys that I'm pressing instead of me trying to say them out loud, because I do a bad job at saying them out loud. Thank you both. All right. But we are going to end for tonight. So take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. Stay hydrated, which I'm proud of both of you for doing that. I have done a crappy job of that today. I'll do better tomorrow. And I'll see you all on the next adventure. Hey, thank you for the follow, Dakuki. I appreciate you. Welcome to the kingdom. Both you and Wishmid. It's great to have you guys here. But we'll see you later.